Hello and welcome, all you footy fans. Another big round in the AFL to talk about. Round 7, ANZAC round. Gonna be a big one. Let's get right into it. Alright, the first match of the round is Western Bulldogs hosting the Sydney Swans. In what would have been a classic matchup a couple of weeks ago. Looks like it's going to be pretty one-sided now. I mean, Bulldogs are pretty decimated with injuries. A lot of their top talent is in question for the game, especially in the ruck stocks. And they've just been horrendously out of form. They've been, ever since half time of that Essendon game a couple of rounds ago, they've been pretty woeful. They limped over the line against Essendon. That second half was, I guess, a sign of things to come. Then they got flogged by Hawthorn at Gather Round and flogged again by Geelong. And it's not going to get any easier for them with a rampaging Sydney to contend with. I was about to say we can look at the injury lists for both sides at the moment. Let's go with Sydney first. They're missing Taylor Adams, Riak Anju, Braden Campbell, Will Green, Max King, a different Max King, and Errol Goulden. I mean, the only real instant first team player there is Errol Goulden. He's going to be out for like pretty much the whole season. They're saying 3 months at the moment, which is late July, early August. He might be back. Yeah, they'll get him back in before the finals, but everyone else just squad players. Even Taylor Adams is very experienced and a pretty handy player, but he's more of a squad player these days. So yeah, Sydney are pretty healthy at the moment, which is good for them. And then you go to the Western Bulldogs. It's looking a bit concerning. Marcus Bontempelli has got a hyperextended his knee. Apparently not much damage to it, but it's still a test, so he might drop out. They might just rest him for this week. Depends how much they think they can actually win. Which, they have to believe in themselves to get the job done, but I don't know. Butterick out for 3 to 5. Even weakens up their defense even further. Sam Darcy's, you all know, ACL out for the season. Big blow, big blow. Tim English out for another few weeks. Riley Garcia, no timetable on that one. Artie Jones, another couple of weeks. Liberatorio might be done completely with concussion protocols. They're pretty confident that he's going to keep playing on, but we'll see. They might get forced to retire him. Rory Lobb, another test. Probably won't play either. James O'Donnell, 4 to 5. Zach Walker, I'm not even sure who that is. In fairness, sorry, Zach. And Cody Waitman, still no confirmed timetable on him. So look at their injury list compared to Sydney's, and it's got a stark difference. A lot of top quality players. I mean, not that you need any further reason to go with Sydney in this match, just form based and I was about to say, trying to think of another reason, form based. I guess the only thing that does bode well in Western Bulldogs' favour is that Marvel Stadium, and that's the ground they do play the best footy at. But just waffling on now. It's much as I love to see the Western Bulldogs show some fight and bounce back and get back in the winners column, because they desperately need another one before they slip too far behind the 8 ball in the season. I'm pretty confident in saying that Sydney's going to win this one. Do I think they're just going to absolutely blitz them? That's the only question. It's the margin, really, in my opinion. Depends, obviously, on this injury list. We don't know. It's currently Wednesday, so I guess the teams will come out later today. Yeah, it's early. Yeah, it's 11:23 Australian Western Standard Time as I'm recording this, so English won't come in. They won't rush him back. Luba ain't coming back in. Rory Lobb and Bontempelli are the question marks, I guess, but I'm going to go with the assumption that Bontempelli is going to play. Lobb, I'm not so sure about. But either way, Sydney by 46 points. Sydney by 46. They're just going to be way too strong. And I think the Bulldogs are just going to have a lot of ball in their back half, and their back half is their weakest part of their game, so yeah, they need to dominate. And now we move on to the second match. Richmond playing host to Melbourne at the MCG in the ANZAC Eve match. Friday night. which is quite handy. Good to line up on a Friday night for Anzac Day. Yeah, it's probably another straightforward one, even though Richmond do kind of lift for this game. I guess the occasion and the emotion involved in it does lend itself to a younger team getting up and about, and especially early on could put a bit of pressure on Melbourne. Again, we'll look who is possibly going to play. The injury list is Richmond's going to be first where I'm scrolling. The injury list: Jasper Alga, Harry Armstrong, and Sam Banks out for a long period of time. Judson Clark, Taj Houghton, Ryan Mansell, no date, so they're not going to play either. Nankervis out 3 to 4. Morris Rioli's now out for 4 to 5 weeks. Tom Sims, Josh Smiley ain't going to play. Tim Durando is concussed, so he's out as well. But that's not going to help them, a young side. Losing a lot of experience out of it. On to Melbourne side, Jake Bowie, I think. Bowie? Anyway, he's a test, so that's interesting. Handy play for them. In their defense, Tom Campbell's out. Chankwath Jaff out as well. The 3 tests. Oh, I said out. It's a test. I don't think they'll rush. I think they'll probably rest them this week, so Melksham out, McAdam out, Paddy out. Oh yeah, it was a bit worrying what happened to Paddy over the weekend. He didn't look right at all. Trent Rivers still out. Salem out. Didn't realise how many kind of injuries Melbourne actually had, but I think their squad depth and the form that they're in will carry them in good stead for this matchup. I mean, I think they've won. Let's look at the actual form guide. Head to head, they've won the last 3 matchups. Well, that's not surprising the way they've fortunes have gone lately. Oh, the last matchup was in pre-season this year, so it doesn't really matter too much. But the last 2 official AFL fixtures, it was pretty convincingly to. Actually, it's always they only play each other once a year, which is interesting. I didn't realise that. It's only for this ANZAC Eve match they kind of get to rock up against each other, which is interesting. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, even though Melbourne did have a blip against Essendon, a lower rated side earlier at Adelaide Oval. I believe it was at Adelaide Oval. But at the MCG, they've just been playing the MCG exquisitely so far this year. Albeit they're all Sunday afternoon matches at the MCG. I don't know if that plays a factor. But yeah, I think, if I mount a case for Richmond win, I guess the occasion, the classic, they have to win at some point matchup argument, which they would have been saying for West Coast last. They have to win at some point. They did win 1 game, so I mean, Richmond have to win 1 game this year, potentially against West Coast. Solid chance there, but yeah, Demons gonna win this one. Demons by. They haven't really been blowing out teams. So Demons by 21 points. Tigers, I think they'll keep it fairly close. They're good at that. They keep the pressure and intensity up for long enough. But Melbourne will be too strong and too classy and finish off better. Yeah, Demons only by 21. And the matches keep coming. Saturday, early. Well, early for me. Early in general, I guess. We're going to head over to Tasmania for the last time for a Hawks home game. I was about to say, how do I broach that subject? I mean, did Tassie come in? I can't remember. Tassie don't come in next year, do they? Or do they? They start playing next year? Anyway, I'm off on a tangent here, but yeah, the Hawks hosting game in Tasmania. One of the last times, I guess. I'm just going to go with that. Against the Gold Coast Suns. Got me waffling. Could be a potential classic. I mean, 2 of the better sides of the year, 2 top 4 hopefuls. Yeah, what more to say? I mean, the Hawks just been cruising, doing pretty impressive numbers. Oh, it's Anzac Day as well. Forgot about that. Forgot to mention that because it's not the Essendon Collingwood traditional Anzac Day fixture, you forget to mention it. It's usually only 2 Anzac Day games that happen. It used to just be the one for many years, but now there's 2. But now actually now there's 2. Now there's 4 because it falls on a Saturday, so they have to get the games in. Yeah. Hawks. As I've been doing, trying to ascertain potential lineups. And Hawthorn. Injury list, Marbiel Chaw's me out 4 to 5 weeks, but they've got decent tall forward stocks that they can bring in for injuries at the moment, so they're not. I mean, Marbiel Chaw's been playing fairly well this year. His shot kicking hasn't been great, but his marking, contest, second ruck work has been very important for the Hawks. Will Day still out for that same time period, 4 to 5. Jack Gunston, they'll probably rest him for this game. He didn't play last week. I don't think he did. I didn't really watch the game. Didn't have a chance to, unfortunately. Dylan Moore and James Sicily out with suspension against the hits on Logan Evans. So it's a few key outs for Hawthorn, so that does help the Gold Coast Suns case in Tasmania. I don't know their form in Tasmania. Noah Anderson still has an appendix issue. I think he'll miss another week at least. Guy Farrow out for 6+ weeks. Elliot Himmelberg is still out with the knee injury. Gonna be out for a while. And John Noble has been suspended. Oh, for the hit on forget who it was, but he got him high. Yep, Edwards, I think. Yeah, Gold Coast close to full strength. That's helpful for them. John Noble and Noah Anderson would help a lot in this game, but it is what it is. Look at the recent fixtures. Last year, Gold Coast played Hawthorn. I believe it was in the Northern Territory, or maybe North Queensland. Maybe the Northern Territory. Of the TR Stadium, I think they might have been at. Which the Suns got a pretty handy win, 8 points, and the year before, they won strongly against them. Actually, that would have been on the Gold Coast. So the form recently has lent the Suns' way, even though, Hawks did have to travel for those matches, so that probably is a big factor in those recent results. I was going to say Hawthorn pretty confidently, but now they've just kind of went over things in my head, and the amount of outs that the Hawks do have for this week. Sicily and Dylan Moore, 2 very handy players that aren't playing. Yeah. Am I still going to say Hawks will win? That's the question. I do. Damn. Is this the one where I pick the upset? Because the Hawks are still favourites, because it is in Tasmania, but the Gold Coast haven't been travelling that well this year, so... Gives me a bit to ponder. How do I call it? Yeah, I think without Hawthorn's outs for this one, I think I'll give the Suns a good chance. I'll pick the Suns to win by 11 points. Yeah, it should be still a close one, but I think the Suns can win by 11. I know they had a big scare against Essendon last week, which was at home. So their form isn't great, but I think this is maybe a turning point game for their season and actually showing that they're competent. This could be the game that comes back to bite me, but you know what? I'm going to go out on the limb and say that the Suns will get this done. Now here it is, the traditional blockbuster Anzac Day matchup. Essendon beat Collingwood at the MCG. Actually, no, Essendon won a game in 2024. Well, they played twice. Yeah, I think the Anzac Day was... Oh, they drew, actually, sorry. So it's actually been Essendon's way. They lost pretty comprehensively this fixture last year. They kept it close to the third quarter, but then they got blown out and lost. They won by 12 points. I don't remember that game. I just kind of remember Collingwood beating Essendon all the time, but maybe my memory's askew. Yeah, and the other Anzac Day in 2024 was when they had that miraculous comeback. I thought they actually won by a point, but it was a draw, so that's crazy. Huh. That leans itself to a potential Essendon win. They have been much improved over the last few weeks. The second half against the Bulldogs, which I mentioned earlier, went for them. It had an impressive win over the Demons in Gather Round, and then could have actually beaten Gold Coast on the Gold Coast, which would have been a big scalp for them. So anyway, let's look at the potential lineups. Bobby Eels, is not coming back anytime soon. 6 to 8 weeks at least. Could be three big ins for him. Jordan DeGoey's a test for a concussion that he received a couple of weeks ago. Darcy Moore, that niggling hamstring injury, still a test. And Steel Sidebottom was rested last week. I think, out of those, Steel Sidebottom will almost certainly be in. Probably DeGoey as well. So I don't know about Darcy Moore. I think they should take a more cautious approach for him. And there, the Essendon injuries, nothing really new there. Fiorini still out. Harrison Jones got a calf, won't come back anytime soon. Nick Martin's out for the whole year, we know that. Mason Redmond, Ridley, Sandini. Did Ridley play last week? Did he get that injury? I think, maybe. I can't remember. I did actually watch most of the Gold Coast Essendon game before I went to work on last Saturday. Can't remember if that was the game he got injured in. Anyway, I mean, I'm not the biggest Collingwood fan in the world, so I'm going to look for as many reasons that Essendon can win this game. Their improved form. Collingwood's been a little lackluster lately. I mean, they did beat the Blues barely last week. That was a bit of a weird game. They've lost a few. I mean, the gap between them isn't as great as you would have thought like 5 or 6 weeks ago. Or even 3 weeks ago, sorry. I mean, I'm just going to go by the book. I mean, the bookies obviously have Collingwood pretty strong favourites, but I do give Essendon a very strong chance of winning. And I already went with the bold call in the earlier game, so this could be a double whammy for me, but I'm going to still pick the Magpies to win by a solid 16 points. They don't score a lot, Collingwood, so if Essendon can get off to a hot start and put a bit of scoreboard pressure on, they should be able to get the job done, but I think Collingwood's defensive game and their mids should be able to get the job done. Forward for me. Port Adelaide v Geelong in Adelaide. They're getting a bit of representation with the Anzac Day fixtures. We're hitting Tasmania, Melbourne, Adelaide, and Perth. I think the last game's Fremantle's v Carlton. Fremantle v Carlton, so that's interesting. That's good to see a bit of representation with Anzac Day. Get it around the whole country. Australia-wide thing. Geelong, Tyson Stengel individualised program, which is interesting. He's away from the group. The injury is conditioning, apparently. I don't know about that. I've heard a few things about potential indiscretions off the field. Don't want to go in too depth without too much knowledge, but Ryan Myers with that knee, I don't think he'll play this week. They said a potential ACL or something, or some proper knee injury, so I don't think they'll rush him into this one. Jack Henry will be out. Yeah, I think all these players won't be in. It's not too much issue with Geelong at the moment. I think Dangerfield will play again. None of these players are going to be coming back anytime soon. Yeah, going to be pretty bog standard for the two of them. They're just going to pick up mainly the same lineups they had last week, by the looks of it. 76 points, 88 points. Yeah, it's been 3 floggings in a row, and there's going to be another one. They were getting flogged even when they were a better side power, so... I mean, it is at Adelaide, but then again, the last time they played at Adelaide Oval, they got smacked again. Or last 2 times they played at Adelaide Oval, by the looks of it. Yeah, keep it pretty straightforward. I can't really mount a case for Port Adelaide in this one. I'll try to mount a case for teams in most matches, but yeah, Geelong, and by the looks of it, they did smack up the Bulldogs last week, and they've smacked Port Adelaide last 3 matchups, so we'll probably have to go bold in this one. Geelong by 66 points. Yeah, I think Geelong are going to run through them again, and Port Adelaide fans are going to have another disappointing week, unfortunately, but it is what it is. All right, here we go now. A game worth talking about. Probably not. I mean, they've got St Kilda as a very strong favourite in this one, which is interesting. I don't think it's that strong. Well, then again, it's me. My bias is talking. The Eagles have struggled lately. Yeah, form guides would say that St Kilda should win this one. They almost got an impressive win over Adelaide last week in emotional circumstances for the Adelaide Football Club. Maybe that played a factor into it. Maybe just St Kilda came with a game plan that was on time and on target for him, but let's look at the injury list, baby. Anyone in a chance to come back in for this week? No, Starcevic still out, 4 to 5. Devin Robertson out for the season, we all know. Archer Reed now has actually got an injury there. It's probably Jacob Newton. He's out for the season, I didn't even realise that. Crazy. Anyway, Sam Allen, Tyler yeah, I don't think... Yeah, Harry Edwards ain't coming back. Jack Graham ain't going to come back. Yeah, a couple of force substitute. I wonder who's going to come in for Archer Reed, actually. That's interesting. Yeah, a few key injuries for the Eagles, so not great. We do probably need to make a couple of changes, but we'll see. Wish I was saying this as the teams were being announced, but the teams won't be announced for this game till like Friday, so unfortunate. Anyway, Charlie Banfield, 1 or 2 weeks. Caminiti is a test. They might rest him for this game. They don't need to rush him back in, I don't think. DeConing, test. I probably play DeConing, probably like in a limited game time sense, just to get the dominance out of the midfield. Max King still conditioning himself. He might be back for a few weeks. Yeah, I think they'll play DeConing. Just like limited like 50% game time, just to get him on top in the rocks. Which is Achilles heel for the Eagles. Give them first use and they let the midfield get to work. I mean, the last couple of matchups are interesting. Well, the 2 interesting ones to look at, I guess, were the 2 at Optus Stadium where 2024, the Eagles actually could have won that game against the Saints. I do remember that game well. We had chances to put them away early and they came back and rolled us. And then the second game that they played, which would have been at Marvel Stadium, I'd imagine, was a comprehensive win by the Saints. And then last year, the Eagles got the win, their only win of the season against the Saints at Optus Stadium again. So, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I would have given the Eagles a chance, but the way they've been traveling at the moment, and Saints have been losing games, but they've been close and in the contest for most of them, and they've been playing pretty good sides that they've lost to, and they're looking to finish in the top 10, at least for this season. So, do I mount a case for the Eagles to win? I guess there's a case that I believe in my side a little bit. Yeah, I can't back the boys in for this one this week, unfortunately. Now, can they keep it competitive? That's the next question. Saints haven't been playing the greatest football. Yeah, got to give the Saints this one, unfortunately. St Kilda by 32 points. I'm hoping that I'm wrong on this one and that the Eagles can make it interesting and keep within at least 2 goals and hopefully win by 2 goals, but yeah, it could blow out over 40. Hopefully not, but depending on how the first half goes and if we make the most of our opportunities, which has been a weak point for us in the last couple of weeks. Brisbane v Adelaide at the Gabba does make it interesting. Brisbane have to be the short price favourites in this one, being at home, and that they're the back-to-back premiers, so you give them the slight nod between the 2. Recent encounters, Adelaide beat them last year. This is at Adelaide Oval, obviously, and it was Brisbane looked pretty wasteful of their opportunities there, so maybe that's a potential win. And then they played in the preseason, which Adelaide got that win as well, so it's interesting. And then I don't know why they keep putting preseason games as like form guides, so that shouldn't count at all. And then the year before, Brisbane won at the Gabba. Last time they played there for 4 premiership points, it was the Brisbane Lions getting it done, so I guess that does influence your decision there. Adelaide, what are they really looking at? I've lost all momentum for this. Archie still out for a couple of weeks. Fogarty as well. Hinge, Keane. It's interesting. Got Dan Curtin listed. He's in the mix apparently. Yeah, I mean, he's a test for the sample side, I guess. Yeah. Probably could have read these for the other teams as well, who could have come in. That would have been interesting to read in the mix section. So something to pay attention to soon. But yeah, Jordan Dawson will almost certainly come in. Depending on how I think he'll come back in. That's a big in for them. Brisbane, Hannibal have like the whole season by the looks of it. Answorth, another concussion. How maybe Berry's out for a few. So they do have a few injuries. This one is a bit tough to call, actually. Usually you'd say for most of the season you just pretty much back Brisbane in to win, but they have not been playing that well this year, and maybe the extra games on the board over the last couple seasons. The shortened pre-seasons are starting to catch up to them. But yeah, still have to go with Brisbane, but not 100% confidently. Yeah, lose a bit more confidence, but Brisbane by 20. Probably be closer than that, but yeah, I'm gonna say Brisbane by 20. I still back them in. Beat the Adelaide Crows, but Adelaide do have a good chance to win this one. I wouldn't write them off, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do actually get up and win a close one. GWS Giants playing host to North Melbourne in Canberra. I mean, North Melbourne do play in Canberra quite often, so they should know the ground well enough. How do I think this one's going to go? Well, unexpectedly, I guess, for me at least, North Melbourne are much higher on the ladder than the GWS Giants at the moment. Recent encounters would go, 3-0 to the it's been all one-sided for the Giants in the recent encounters. Please stop fucking popping right up. That's when the Giants were a lot stronger at the moment. Yeah, they're in 14th, 2-4, 4-2. They've had a much tougher fixtures, I think. Well, they both smacked the Tigers around, which is pretty much to be expected at the moment. But they've now the Giants' injury list: Angove, Cadman's going to be out, Cornelia's going to be out. Oh, when did he get that? He got against. They both those concussions were against the Tigers, so you know what? I give him a strong chance to come back in. Fonte out with suspension. Hogan, Jones. Does Hogan play again? Does Hogan come back in? I mean, at least one of Cadman or Hogan or both of them will come back in. I mean, the game is on Sunday, so you know what? Given that it is on Sunday, I expect them both to play. So that's going to be some key-ins for the Giants by the look of it. Cadman, Cornelio, they should be in. Yep, so those three should be in, which is going to be big for the Giants. They need as much experience and quality in the sides they can get. Tristan Sherry will be back in after suspension. Finn O'Sullivan will be back. Apparently Zach Fisher played well in the VFL, but yeah, don't rate Zach Fisher too highly. Only good games he played against the Eagles, back when he used to play for Carlton. A couple good games for the for the Roos as well, but anyone over the last couple of years played good games against the Eagles, so yeah, some key-ins for the Hangers as well. Sherry and Finn O'Sullivan, two of the top 10 best players at least. I mean, you can mount a case for the Kangas to win this one, and if it was in Victoria, you'd probably give the Kangas the tip, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if North Melbourne can get this one done. But yeah, as everyone's gonna point out, they haven't really beat anyone of great substance yet, and can't rate their position on the ladder with great certainty until like the end of this coming around to fixes in 4 rounds time. If they're still if they're still in the top 8, that's, yeah. Then you can say it's a bit more real. The form's a bit more real. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the consensus and say the Giants will win this one by 22 points. I don't think it will... I don't think it'll be too much of a blowout either way. It could actually even be close. It could be a kick in it either way. But I'm going to back the Giants with their ins and the quality in their side to actually get this job done. If you made it this far, if you made it through this, made it to the end of the video, please consider subscribing. Really appreciate it. And drop a like if you enjoyed the video. And leave a comment. I think I should make more videos talking about the AFL day to day, or what you think the week's results will be and who your favourite side is. Have a chat, I guess. Anyway, see you next week. Thanks, guys.